Sana, Siri Gian.
Satnam.
Hi, who's here?
Debbie?
Who?
Debbie.
Oh, hi, Debbie. How are you?
Pretty good.
Good. Who else is here?
Aloha Girl is here, but I'm Dion. Good morning.
Good morning, dear. Glad to have you.
I'm glad to be
here. And who else is here?
Rahmani and Tomas.
Oh, welcome. It's a nice day here in New Mexico, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
And who else?
Lucinda's here.
Lucinda, how have you been?
It's all a process.
Well, that's a good way to put it. Well, we're glad to have you.
I'm glad to be here.
And who else? Huh? What, Lucinda?
Well, I just said I'm glad to be here.
Oh, good. And who else is with us? Somebody just came on? Oh. It is an angel who just came on. Okay. So, who has a theory, who would like to tell us something that happened this week? Oh, there must be somebody.
Some of us get tired of speaking up all the time.
You what? I can't quite hear you.
I said some of us don't want to be always the first to speak up.
Well, then, Kaur.m4v, you get to be the one to break the ice.
Well, that's
what's happened this week.
God's given me God gave me the courage and the gift of gab. So why not use it for good instead of evil?
There you're good. Good.
Well, it's been a very transformative week, and the thing is that part of the message that has been received, that was received last Wednesday, also last Wednesday evening, was to just really give ourselves permission to be happy and to allow ourselves to succeed and expand and be happy, right?
Yes, that is so important.
Exactly, and to dance and be joyful. But it's kind of like before we could do that, it's like if I had to dance in my living room, I have to make sure there's space there to dance, and in my heart as well. And there's been, let me put it this way, there's something I was able to, it's like something I was completely blind to, but it was the biggest aha moment I've had in years of opening and clearing something that I know is pivotal to that. And it's, we're talking, this is something like almost ancient in my body and in my experience and my thinking patterns and feelings. So it's like I'm completely fresh to knowing what my life is going to be like right now, because it's cleaned up a whole bunch of stuff.
Wow.
So I don't know what it's going to look like, but I'm more excited because I feel like, okay, I didn't even know this was in the way. This boulder was in the way, and now that it's not in the way, this road is opened up very nicely indeed. And I don't know, it's kind of like it's something very unusual. And simultaneously, I got the confirmation on the job that I start in a few days up in Encino, so I'm in the area. I'm close enough. But the great thing about this job is that I decided to be full frontal with this individual, and when we met, I didn't hide my energy. I wasn't aggressive either, but when she asked about my life and my desires and my dreams, and I was totally clear about my spiritual path, and she's very, very, very welcoming of it. In fact, she desires it. So it's going to be the first time that I work with somebody else, not just for myself, and I don't have to hide that. And on top of that, I've gotten a lot of messages.
On top of that,
I've gotten a lot of messages. I get getting back into healing, but I don't know, it's like a whole different mix of my practice. I have no idea what that looks like, but I haven't been officially doing healing work for, like professionally for about 3 or 4 years now. So it's kind of very exciting. I have no idea what that looks like either. So not having an idea what it looks like is not scaring me, and that in itself is a gift.
Oh, that's fabulous. Okay, that's what it's like to live in soul. You live in the present.
Hey!
And the present doesn't mean that you know the future.
All right. Excellent. Now I get to be quiet for the rest of the day.
Not a chance. I love that story, dear. I'm so happy to hear how you're moving along here. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, my pleasure.
Okay. So now, let's get started. Okay, long deep breath. That's it. Long deep breath. Relaxing with a straight spine. Still relaxing. Good. Palms are together if you can. Relaxing in the third eye. And inhale to begin. Begin long deep breathing. Relax in that long deep breathing. Relax in the light of that long deep breathing, that cozy light. And now begin heart breath. That is, keep up with long deep breathing, and on the exhale, feel as though the air is coming out of the heart center. It's generally out the front, but you can also make it go out both the front and the back of the heart center. Good. Feel it expanding you, allowing you to be present in the space of your soul. Your soul's not way far away. It's right there. It is who you are. Just be conscious of it. And allow yourself to be. and keep up. And now, everyone, please send heart breath to one another. Please connect with these very long, beautiful strands, waves of light. What a beautiful body you are. And drop any ideas or worries. Oh, I couldn't really be one of these. Oh, I am different than them. Mm-hmm. We're all the light. We're all the light. Might as well relax and accept it. The same light of the infinite. All right, keep opening. Good. And feel that glow. You are of that glow. And now keep up the heart breath. Really continue to feel your heart open, glow. This is very important now. This is your tool, so to speak. It's not quite the right word, but it does affect what happens. Good. Now, open your heart and be the healing engine. Be the healing engine now. And allow what we're going to call the world to rest in that glow. You can start with your family. Keep up the breath. Your community and all the strange little peccadillos that your community has. Well, big and small. Let them rest in that glow. Good. And now that beautiful glow. Allow the whole cultural consciousness to rest in that glow. That includes people of other political parties. It includes the Middle East. It includes all the people who are fighting one another and all the people who are loving one another. Keep up the breath. Good. And understand that you have an effect. sometimes we think we can hide, but we cannot. We are present. Might as well make the most of it. We have made the decision at the soul level to engage in the culture at this time, to engage in our community, our location, our friends, our associates, those who would not understand us and not accept us. We have made at the soul level the decision to be here. Here, now. Might as well accept it and relax in it. Good. Okay, so I hear that Yogi Bhajan is here. Yes, sir. He says, don't tell me that I've taken you by surprise. He says, I'm always here. He says, I want you just to take a moment now to appreciate the life that you have. He says, you may think it's crappy. He says, but don't worry about that. He says, I want you to appreciate it. He says, so to appreciate it, please relax into it. Relax into it. He says, you came here, you allowed, you brought forth these particular karmas, these particular outlooks, this particular timeline. He says, so don't fight it. Oh, don't fight it. He says it is precious. It is precious. He says, for instance, you know, you may have had a brother that you fight with, you have fisticuffs with, you roll around in the dirt with, but in the end you are the most loyal. You are the most loyal sibling to this brother. He says that is the way it is in life. That is the way it is in life. So relax with it. Be sure if you fight, you have a good time with it. He says, if you don't have a good time with it, if you feel as though you're being overcome, overpowered, if you are fighting for your life, he says you put yourself under a tremendous weight. He said, even if you are actually fighting for your life, he said, feel the enjoyment of it. He says, be in the space, be in the knowing of your infinite, of your soul. He said, let your sword arm be that of your soul's sword arm. He says, but under it all, he says, be clad in your soul. Have the fun of the dance within your own soul. He says, let your soul exude from you. Know it is your PowerPoint, as your master's way. He says, simply be humble to it. And at the deepest level, be appreciative and enjoy it. He says, who do you think you are? He says, do you think you were etheric angels just waving your wand over the earth? He says, being a human is an extraordinary event. Being a human is an extraordinary event. He says, just let that sink in. He says, imagine. He says, it doesn't happen just once in a lifetime. He says it happens over and over again. He says, can you imagine? Can you imagine what your soul has been going through? He says, of course. I always told you that you go through 8.4 million lifetimes and half of them in water. He says, yes, you've been that giant squid. Yes, you've been that little mollusk. He says, you've been all the animals of the air and the sea. He says, you have been those little molecular beings. He says, but look where you are now. Look where you are now. He says, how could you not value that? He says, I don't care how wonderful or nasty you think your life is. Just take a look. Just take a look. After having been through so much, through so many lifetimes, and here you are now. He says, I want you to understand the privilege of being human. Understand the privilege of being human. I don't care how you judge your life, understand the privilege of being human. As a human, you have access to sharing in the divine, consciously sharing in the divine divinity. Consciously sharing in the divine divinity. When you understand that, from your heart, through the vibration of your own soul, he says, you get it, you understand it, and you finally have the ability to relax into your expansion. Do that now, please. Relax into your expansion. Use your breath. He says you do this because you can do this because you are human. He says, please appreciate being human. Keep up. Keep up as I talk. He says so often within people's lifetimes, they get into a place of despair. Why am I here? Why do I have to stay? I don't like this. I am not loved. I am blocked. He says it's all part of the trail. All part of the trail. Keep up the breath. He says, now see this lifetime as a flow of events that your soul cherishes. He says, you thought your consciousness was small, you thought you were alone. He says, no way. Your consciousness, your being, is that extension of the soul consciousness. That aspect of the soul consciousness that turned itself so that it was not conscious of who it was, so that it may experience the separation. He says, isn't that a funny trick? He says, please, please, oh please. He says, you can laugh at it. It is soul's trick. Soul is looking for the experience of coming home. You see, soul is always at home. Soul is always purely present. But it creates this being that feels that it's separate, this consciousness. He says it's really not separate. It just thinks it's separate, and it goes through all of the ecstasies and the agonies of the life, of lifetimes, for the sake of experience. He says, no, you are not simply being used. He says, you are the soul who has made the decision to experience this. All right, now turn around and face your soul and say, soul, the bluff is up. I know who you are and I know who I am, and we're the same. The bluff is up. Breathe, please. He says, now just listen to your soul and see what your soul has to say. He says, write it down. He says, this is the master wisdom of your life. And let yourself know that you will not give an inch of giving up this knowing, this realization, this knowledge that you are the aspect that has been the unconscious aspect of soul. But you got it now. You got the truth. You got the truth. You are fully, completely, wholly soul living on this earth. And because you are human, because you've made it up the ladder out of all of that muck, up through all of the instances of being alive, dying, suffering, being in pain and agony, and being in ecstasy, and simply enjoying the earth. He says, don't you enjoy the earth? Don't you enjoy Mother Earth, Adi Shakti's creation, flowers, mountains, sky, rivers, waters? What a gift. What a gift. Be appreciative of it. He says, now, as being this human engine, this human extension of your soul, this human amalgam, as creature, as nature, as experiencer of earth, turn around and present that to soul. That aspect, your true aspect, present it to soul. Your divine leader, your pure heart, your totality. Offer it all of yourself, your experience, your happy, your sad, your worry, your anticipation. Offer it all. Offer it all to soul. Doesn't matter if it seems grimy, if it seems separate, if it doesn't seem fitting for the divine. There's nothing that's not fitting for the divine. Offer it in true humility to soul. Your highest chakra, put it that way, that lives within every bit of you. He says, let go of the separation. Let go of the separation. You will not live in soul's bluff anymore. You will only live as a full, knowledgeable, aware, conscious extension of the divinity that is you. Claim it now. Claim it now. Good. He says, and now let it just trickle all the way through you. Like a water. Like water expanding a sponge. So it's like water expanding the sponge of you. Of you that thought it was separate, that it thought it was lost. Allow the expansion. Do you feel how soft you become? How useful you become? How you flow? Do you feel that? He says that is precious divinity. That is precious divinity. Flowing through every bit of your consciousness, through every bit of your body, through every bit of your mind. Allow the preciousness. And that preciousness is you. How can you ever, in any part of your consciousness, believe that you are not loved? He says, just feel soul. Your own true self. Open that gateway. Do you see? Is it a surprise to you that there is nothing but love? Oh my God. Cozy, rich, expansive, powerful, without being overbearing. No reason to fight, no reason to feel alone. You simply are. And as that, then you have compassion for apparently all other beings who don't get it yet. He says they will in time. I know it seems like ages sometimes. It seems like lifetimes. It's like, why can't we all just get along and be this? He said time. Time is part of the human experience as well. So it means having compassion also for that timeline. You may say, why didn't I get it? Why didn't I get it earlier? Again, my dear ones, my cherubs, he calls you. He says, because the time is this part of creation that is so crucial. These are dimensions that are created by your all in all. And for soul to experience them all, it had to create itself as you, with what seems to be apparent limited knowledge, limited understanding. But you see, you've turned around and you've seen the bluff. The curtain has opened. You have seen the truth. So have fun calling soul's bluff at every minute. You are the same. You are the same. You are the preciousness. You are the opening. You are the jewel. And as you are you, he says others can vibrate then at that same frequency that you allow. It is allowing. Do you understand? It is allowing. It is not making. It is allowing. Becoming aware. Having the fun, like Baba Siri Chand, having the dance. The opening. He says that's what purity is all about. He says it simply means that you turn around and allow the infinity, the light, the joy to move through you without getting stuck. That's all it means. It says, so are you pure? No judgment, no guilt, no up, no down. Just say yes. Just say yes and relax. He says, forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for not realizing. He says it's all part of the game of being human, the necessity of the game to have come through the consciousness, leave it behind to go into the unconsciousness, and to come out again on the other side. On the other side of calling soul's bluff. Breathe. So do you see you are the amalgamation of soul and this creature, this extension of soul living in the limits of time and space. Might as well enjoy it. For soul there is no time. For soul there is only the eternal present. So you see, my darlings, you get to experience the realm of time and space. The wonder of time and space. The wonder of materiality, of living in nature, of understanding, of seeing, of being present and witnessing the peccadillos, the dissatisfaction of humans, the awareness that is caught up in difficulties. or in pleasures. You see, you get to witness it. You get to be a part of it. You are it. You are playing the game. This is where you have been, and that's where you still continue to play it, but you know yourself as the player. And you allow that consciousness to come through. He says you may think it's kind of like an unfair advantage. He says it may be like having a little microphone in your ear, and you are at a gaming table and you have this consciousness that allows you to count the cards, that allows you to win. He says, but have no guilt. He says that is the fun of it. You understand that you are not winning against others, you are not taking advantage of others. You're simply opening the way for all. That is what the winning is about. Remember, soul will take you to the best consciousness. You are not prisoners. You are not prisoners of this beloved earth. You are participants of this beloved earth. He says, we have all been prisoners. As we think we are prisoners of the soul, but in fact, we have only been prisoners of our limited consciousness, and soul is now, in this special time, offering you, it's not exactly the way out, but it is the way in. The way into pure comfort, to pure knowledge, no matter what the circumstances appear to be, but allow you into the pure comfort, the knowing, the allowing. Once you allow soul to take charge, there's no turning back. He said, don't let it frighten you. Say, oh my God, thank you. All those burdens are lifted from me, and now I can simply be present no matter what is happening. I can be present no matter what is happening. He says you may think of it as being the puppet of your soul. He says you can think of it that way. He says, but of course it's much more dynamic. It's much more fun. It is playing the part of your soul in this creative arena, on this stage. He says, now, soul spoke to you earlier when you called its bluff. Now it has something else to say to you as you realize it, as you allow yourself to be that pure consciousness. Now listen again, please. And write it down. Good, he says. Now live that light, breathe the light, and recognize yourself. Turn to yourself now. Turn to yourself and tell yourself the bluff is over. It is over. You know who you are. You were looking behind the mask. And look what's there. Just let it sink in, like the rays of the healing sun. Let it sink in. Let yourself relax into it. Like moving into a delicious hot tub. Good. And let yourself radiate. That's who you are, a radiant being. And this is why. He says, now, my precious ones, it is time to teach one another, to express, to amalgamate, to know who you are as this one consciousness. He says, I always thought that we are moving into group consciousness. He says, now it is time to share. Okay, so he says, I want, please, for you to come forward and tell us what happened when you called Soul's Bluff. What did you hear? That's the first thing. And then on the other side, what happened when you turned and called the bluff of your, what we'll call the everyday self or the self? What happened? What did you hear? What did you feel? Okay. He says, who's first?
I think Suzanne can go first.
Oh, good. Thank you, dear.
Yeah, mine are very simple. The first one in Facing Soul was stay the course, and it's in the steady and the calmness that it has more clarity.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I faced myself, I saw look for joy, be joy, and share joy. That was it.
What do you mean that's about it?
I like that.
That's about everything.
Okay, good.
How does that feel to you?
I think I can do it. I do try that, and I'm aware of it. And
okay, when you try, do you relax?
Yeah, very, very much so. But people. I feel like it is something I can give naturally to people. Joy.
Yes. And with yourself?
With myself, yeah. I find that I do need meditation. I really need that space to stay grounded. I know that everyone says it, but it's true for me. I really need that.
Mm-hmm. That's right. I'm not sure if there's anybody who doesn't need it.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, dear.
Oh, thank you.
Who's next? By the way, Suzanne, he's giving you a bunch of gold stars for having gone first.
Oh, I love that. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. He says there are more gold stars for the one who goes second.
Oh, boy.
Who's going next?
I'm Siri Datar from New York.
Yes, dear.
And
welcome.
Hi. And the first time when we call a soul's bluff, it was now you can laugh, be happy, relax into it, and it's like infinite and like you know truth and Satnam. It's that infinite state. So that's a good thing. And then
did you like it? Did
you
like that feeling?
It's a good idea. Yeah. So you
good
can
idea.
Just, like relax, like this is it's all okay. And the other one, when you said to look in the self, I was thinking of the self inside the self, like the true self. So maybe I misunderstood, but the feeling I got is just love, and like it's just like a peace. And it's kind of like when you're a baby and you just observe things, and there's no, I don't know, like, I guess, expectations or anything. You're just seeing things as they are, like a calm state, and that's like the reality and of life, you know. I mean, even if you look at it, I mean, I'm taking off a tangent here, but even if you look at it like from a scientific point of view, like this is just particles, and it's just everything's pretty neutral. There's nothing that's like out there to get you or anything. You know what I mean? There's nothing. It's just it is, and it's like a scientific fact. It's reality, and it's very neutral and very peaceful, and it's God's creation. So if that's God's creation and you're in it, this is like it's almost like a sign of like the reality of God in a sense. It's because you're in it and it's giving you those. If you just like take a step back and you just look at it, or like not even look at it, but just see it as it really is, the true state of life or reality. It's pretty like, you know, that's where I got that idea of like when you're a baby, you just kind of look at things and it's very peaceful and real, and it's the way it is. I mean, you could maybe say it's boring. Maybe that's why we do all this drama and stuff. Oh, we're gonna spice it up, like
to entertain ourselves.
Yeah, that's why you touch your toes and suck on them when you're a baby, and you know you do other things. Like, so it's just like that's like you're saying, the play of life. But if I was doing it like thinking what my everyday self would say, like part of it is like, yeah, but this isn't right. It's like, you know, like I remember when I was in high school, and my mom in the kitchen, I said, if this is God's idea of a joke, I mean, I said, this is really not funny. This is like, you know, putting us here and like, you know, like, but it's like you're saying, it's not he or she or it is putting us here. We are here and we put ourselves here. So we have to, I guess, accept that or see it as, like the everyday self says, I don't like it, you know, just like you do, you know, a yoga set and you have to hold your arms up. It's like, I don't like this, you know, or something, but it's good for you. So, I don't know, I mean, how to make those two mesh, you know, the everyday self, not liking maybe the experience of being here, but then you're saying to enjoy it, that's how you can access that, to enjoy it and the fact that looking at nature and stuff. So just, you know, I guess relax into, like you said, this gift and see it as a gift.
That's it. In that place of being, literally of being is what you're describing. And that's what we call, that's why the identity of God is I am. Simply being. Good. Being in the reality without being pushed and pulled by all those other.
So I guess we have to have fun and enjoy it. Like you're saying, sharing and, you know, like there are troubles and there always will be, even if you have that consciousness of, you know, you may go through things that aren't pleasurable or something, but it's still with that knowledge that it's I guess that it's okay, you know. And then you can help other people, have compassion for other people, see they're going through. I mean, like that, maybe that's like the purpose is that we can have compassion for people even when we're suffering, and you know, because why else would we be here? Like what, you know, what is the point of this experience? But for us to share compassion and love, I guess. Anyway, I'll stop talking.
Good. Well, thank you so much, dear. We appreciate it. God bless you. Okay, who's next?
This is Param Dian. I'll be very quick.
Okay.
After the first thing you asked us to turn around, I just tripped out, and I'm going to have to listen to the recording again. I haven't been able to come back fully in, so I don't know what's going on. But I started to hear the silliest of songs. I don't even know who it is, but it's like, I like to move it, move it. And I see myself constantly dancing silly-like, and I like to move it, and it just won't stop.
Oh, what fun!
It is fun, but I started to trip out, and it's like, okay, no worries. I can re-listen to this. The energy is there, so I'm just out there moving it somewhere.
And this is what happens when you call Phil's bluff. You move it. I love it.
Exactly. But
trip out, move it. What?
It's like one of those movies, you know, for kids with animation and stuff like that. I feel like I'm one of the characters dancing around right now. I'm not even in my body, so I'll check in when I am.
Okay, and let us know what's going on. Listen, we have that Facebook group page, okay?
Yes.
Let us know what happens.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Aloha.
Okay. Bless you, dear. Thank you. Okay, now who's next? Oh, there was somebody out there who was going to be next.
This is Lucinda.
Yes, Lucinda.
And the woman from New York, I think, had said something about expectations, no expectations, when you're a baby, just being. And that was one of the things that has come up for me today, actually this whole week, so this is perfect for me. I always appreciate that this is always pretty perfect for me.
I'm glad.
I feel like I'm being spoken to very directly each time. But I've been needing to be appreciative of what I have, appreciative of my knowing, and appreciative of my gifts. And I appreciated that you were saying, offered to the soul, that this has to come in humility. It has to be offered. And then I've been feeling very separate. I've been having expectations in the world, in the real world. And if prison taught me anything, I think that it was also supposed to be teaching me that I was not separate, that no matter where I am, no matter what the situation, that I can allow myself to be present there in that peaceful state and be aware and loving and connected and aware of my connection and the trickling of energy and that there is that preciousness of soul that I can breathe into my heart breath at all times and in all situations. But I that doesn't mean I enjoyed or that I like that experience there. That was horrible, but I did experience the infinity moving through me and my preciousness and my gift and my offering, and had found moments when I felt safe in the comfort of God's arms and the comfort of God's love in the heart of God. And then I found this poem, this little prayer. This is a blessing. May God bless us with discomfort. Together we pray. Together we pray at easy answers and half-truths and superficial relationships so that we may live deep within our heart. And that word, that we may live deep within our heart with all that goes around us, and that we may be that and continue to be that without expectations. And that's hard. That's the hard piece is the expectation part for me, I think. But
what you were saying in offering your expectations to your soul, to the God, and letting them go so you can just be free of them, right? We often say expectations will kill you, okay? Because that's the way that what I'm going to call the everyday self wants to make itself secure. There is no security in that. The only security is what you call living in God's arms, living in soul, being in the moment, and allowing yourself to be comfortable with whatever happens next, because you know it's from soul, from the Godhead. Does that make sense to you, dear?
Oh, yeah. It's all about letting go of control and allowing.
That's
just
right.
Just allowing.
That's right. Dancing in the moment.
Trusting and therefore allowing. And that has been happening for me. It's I'm having to live it again right now. But I even for a brief while was able to do some praying and forgiving of the deputy district attorney, the prosecutor, and the judge, and the student who had falsely accused me. I was able to actually still do some forgiving at a level. When I was in that state of peace, I was aware that it was being extended and offered to them too, that it covered, the heart breath covered everyone.
Mm-hmm.
It was extended as a gift and an offering for everyone.
That's right. And in your deep forgiving,
they were part of that too.
And your deep meditative forgiving is frankly not so much for them but for you, because it actually dissolves the ties to those pains, right? To those recurring thoughts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just want to let everybody know that Lucinda, a few years ago, Lucinda was wrongly accused, and she went to jail with a very difficult situation, and thank God that's been turned around now, and now she is among the rest of us now. But again, each place is such a huge learning experience. So did you want to say anything else, Lucinda?
Well, just that I've been feeling very angry for months now since my release. Just feeling a lot of anger, and people have said, well, that's righteous anger. Well, I don't know if it's righteous, but just anger that this had happened to me and was wrong, that I had to go through all this suffering, and that my family had to go through so much suffering wrongfully.
Yeah, it's a loss of power.
So there's a lot of letting go and forgiving to do because of the suffering and the pain. But I see that that's possible, little glimpses that that's possible.
Oh, good. Now, I hope you have a pencil and paper there. I'm going to tell this for everybody. There's an article that would be good for you and for everybody to read. It's at soulanswer.com/karma, KARMA .html. Okay, so have a read there, and then that might help you understand the flow of karma, or why things happen, or to allow yourself to move out of the why me into, oh my God, what an opportunity. Okay? I'm always struck that the reason this girl accused you was because you absolutely had a healing effect on her, and it startled her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I want you, please, to stay with that realization. Not the fact that it startled her,
right,
but that the effect was deep healing on her. Do you understand?
Right. Well, that's what I get when we had our prayers and heart breath today. I was left with, I am a healer, and I can't pretend that I'm not.
Yay! All righty then. That's your truth. Write it down. Put it in your mirror. That's your truth.
And I wish I could be like our very first commenter today, that she had said, oh, she gets to work with people that she can just be herself and be her healing self. And isn't it wonderful when you can be in situations and work things out in your life, that you could have a job, that you could be doing what you need to do and be who you are, and how wonderful.
Okay. Let's just ask her a minute. Padam Dion?
Yes, ma'am.
Padam Dion, are you here?
I am here.
Okay, that was about you.
Yes.
Okay. What happened before you realized that?
I am almost 60 years old, and most of my life I've had to fraction myself, separate this part from that part. And so a whole lot of journeying had to happen. I'm not saying that it takes that long, but that it took me that long. And what it took is just really accepting myself. Nobody could reject me, attack me, manipulate me, or anything if I didn't do it to myself. I recognized that I was vibrating that, and that I had to believe that I had the right to be whole, And it was really a facing of myself, accepting of myself, and nobody's insults or behaviors ever would have touched me if I did not buy into that thought for myself. I know that much. But knowing it and doing it, there's a long journey between the head and the heart. And I just had to take it. I just had to take step by step. Being good to myself and loving myself became more important than anything else, and that's when everything started shifting.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, Lucinda?
I heard that. Thank you.
Okay. That's how it happens.
And I'm 56, so maybe by 4 years from now, huh?
No, it can happen right away. Just let go.
It could, yeah. Right.
But there's the truth. And there's the proof of the pudding, somebody who's worked with it a long time. Well, God bless you all. Oh, I love you all. So, Yogi Bhajan, he's saying yes. He's saying he's very happy and appreciative of all of you on your own particular path. He says, this is why I came to Earth. He says, this is good. Okay. So understanding that you are good, that you are your soul, please sit straight, palms together, and sing this to each other. We are holding hands as we progress along. Inhale. May the long time sun shine upon you, all of around you, and the pure light within you guide your way on, guide your way on, guide your way on. Inhale to express your real self. And bow to your own infinity, your own perfected soul, your real self that is shining through. God bless you all. Love you all. Sat Nam.
Sat Nam. Aloha.
Aloha.